Dear all, welcome for this webinar this afternoon organized by Titan. Titan is an Horizon Europe project that is now active already for 3 years, so we've started our last year, and it is focused on enabling transparency in the food supply chain via the implementation of innovative and mainly digital technologies to boost health, sustainability and safety of products, processes and diets. We are really happy that Fabienne Ruault and Manon Cornell will be presenting this afternoon to eminent speakers on two really interesting topics. One is the food educators from EIT Food, and the other one is Open Food Facts, a food products database made by everyone for everyone. And as always, at the end of the program, we will split up into subgroups and have discussions. One focused on the topic of Fabienne, education for healthier, more sustainable food futures. The other one more focused on Manon, empowering consumers with open data. So in Titan, we are active on a number of topics, and we split them into 4 key expertise areas. One is to enable consumers to make informed food choices, and we split it in 2 topics. One is ensuring food safety and authenticity, and the other one is informing and educating the consumer. And the webinar of today falls under this key expertise area. We have 3 other key expertise areas. One is facilitating supply chain sustainability, which is focused mainly on environmental and social aspects, but also on economic support for SMEs. The third one is implementation of new innovative technologies. It can be, let's say, more analytical methods, for instance, DNA-based detection methods, but mainly in Titan, it are digital technologies. And then we also think it's important to be in line with the food system approach in having the journey towards a sustainable food system, but also to be successful in innovation. These webinars are organized for the Titan network of expertise. We are building this network of expertise. We have more than 180 experts already in our network. And this offers a unique opportunity to be part of this collaborative community. And the membership benefits include to join this vibrant community, to stay informed and contribute, to expand your network, have early access to information and multimedia, and shape the future of our food system. So be part of it and contribute. So you are cordially invited to join our network of expertise, and you can do this by going to our website. Look at the network of expertise page, and then you can sign up. We from Titan, we have a newsletter that we share every 3 months with news that's relevant for the project. Here you see some examples of news items. The newsletter was sent out last week. One is about a symposium that is organized in Helsinki by the Titan project, by our local partners from Helsinki University, improving food choices towards more healthy, sustainable diets. So the work that's being done in the Titan project will be presented. So we hope it's a really successful event. And we have 2 other news items put up. One about Fishtel, one about Honey AI. And these are innovations that are developed and brought to market and that came to Titan via the open call that we have organized. In total, we have 23 innovations being developed in pilots in Titan, of which the majority is driven by SMEs, so that we are quite sure about confident about the commercial readiness of these innovations. Added to the newsletter, we always have a PDF with recent scientific publications and reports. And here you see an example of some of the publications that were in the newsletter. And they, of course, are now selected for the topic of this webinar. Food literacy in children and adolescents, a more climate-friendly family diet, how to reduce food bills, tackle obesity, and improve population health affordably. So those are topics that you can find in this PDF. Then great news. Titan will be, together with another Horizon Europe project, Data for Food 2030, organize our final event. It will be held 17-18 June in Brussels, and the title is Innovations to Build Sustainable Supply Chains in a Fair Data Economy for a Better Food System. We will have stages where we think mainly scientists will present their work, oral presentations and poster presentations, but of course other parties are also invited to submit their abstracts. There will be a marketplace with a number of startups, and we hope that EIT Food also will bring some of their startups along, and other Horizon Europe projects like FCOP and Catalyze. And there will be a networking area for one-to-one meetings. And for the scientific program, we have 4 tracks: enhancing food safety and reducing food fraud, driving informed decisions for consumers, building sustainable supply chains and traceability, and developing the data economy through data spaces. And you can see that these are quite well aligned with the key expertise areas we have in Titan, but they are now also quite well aligned with Data for Food 2030. And what we will try to do is to have 2 awards for young scientists, and also to have, then I have to be here, 2 awards for, I'm sorry, this one. I'm not moving, sorry, for startups. So let's see what we can bring here. And then for the next webinar, it is now planned for 20 October. It's in the key expertise area, implementation of new innovative technologies. We will have 2 presentations, one from Smart Sensors for Agri-Food initiative, where Flanders Food is involved, and we are quite interested in possibilities with sensors. And the other one will be given by Marine Cousa about a detection method to test if the fish that's being brought on market is really the fish that it is intended to be or communicated to be. This is my last slide, so I'll stop sharing. I hope it was clear for all of you, and look forward to very interesting presentations. So the first one to present is Fabienne. I give the floor to you.
Thank you, Edward. I will share my presentation. And here we are. I think you're all able to see. Thank you for the introduction, Edward, and thank you for having me here. I work for EIT Food, and I lead the project Food Educators. So that's what I'm gonna introduce to you today. I will focus on why food education, and specifically food literacy, matters in our view. And then I'll present the offer to address the challenge, our activities and our tools that we've developed for educators across Europe. So I'll be presenting for approximately a bit less than half an hour. I'll go through this agenda first, present EIT Food, and most specifically the public insights and engagement at EIT Food, and dive into the subject at hand, which is the food literacy. It goes very well with what you introduced, Edward, and I saw that one of the articles was specifically about this concept, so I'll go into why it matters to us and what we mean by food literacy. Then our offer specifically in the Food Educators project, our partners and our activities, and our lesson plans and how they are built and how they can be used. So my first point is about EIT Food's public insights and engagement work. So at EIT Food, as some of you might know, we have a diversity of projects and activities, and a diversity of topics that we focus on, and one of the important fields that have been created since the beginning of EIT Food and differs a little bit from the other knowledge and innovation centers is really the focus on the consumers and the general public. And this we look at it in our public insights and engagement team, where we develop projects that have two-way dialogues between the specialists and the public. We are tasked to really empower the consumers to make better choices, and we do that with hand in hand with the influence of policy and business that we feed with consumer insights. We are trying to really change the public discourse around food and sustainability. To have more transparent and science-based information coming to the consumers and to the general public. And our final goal is really to transform the food systems together and to enable the consumers and the general public to be part of the journey. So we do that because of the funding and the way our calls work. We have decided to have 3 flagship programs. The Consumer Observatory has been presented to you already, I suppose in this, I remember in this forum, but we also have Food Unfolded, where we've created a multimedia platform with the goal to raise the global food awareness. So you can go on the website and learn about food and about many different aspects of the food systems in diverse format. We have documentaries, online articles, social media, campaigns and events. And I lead the 3rd flagship program, which is called Food Educators, where we focus on educating educators, so training educators, teachers, but also out-of-school educators around Europe to increase their food knowledge and their food literacy in order for them to further increase children's food literacy. But why do we think food literacy matters? First of all, the term. So it's a term that we feel presents very well what we're trying to achieve. It was first popularized in public health and nutrition research in the early 2000s, but to understand really what this term and the concept means, we need to really dig deeper than just public health and nutrition into generally what our current food reality is. So I will set the scene and start with public health. So those shocking facts you probably all know about. 1 in 5 deaths in the world is due to poor diets, even more than tobacco nowadays. 74% of Europeans believe in eco-friendly diets, but only 12% actually eat enough fruit and vegetables. And then the meat matters. The average citizens eat about 1.5 kilos of meat, which is over 5 times what the Eat Lancet's recommendation is. So what we see is that food literacy can really improve individual and public health by empowering people, everyone, to make informed dietary choices that promote well-being, food systems, sustainability in general. So have a direct impact in public health. The environment now. Again, a lot of facts. 1 in 3 global emissions are from the food systems. We see soil loss, deforestation, biodiversity decline, etc., etc. And the EU's eco debts, all of this, of course, the food we eat have an impact on the environment. And what we've analyzed and seen in the research is that food literate citizens understand this ecological and ethical consequences of the intensive food production that we have in the food system, and can actually make choices that will support more sustainable practices. And society and the economy are, of course, also impacted by our food systems, inequities. Again, vulnerable communities are hit the hardest when it comes to the food systems problems. $10 trillion of annual costs. So our food system, our current food system today actually destroys more value than it creates. And it has a very heavy strain on our healthcare. What we analyzed is that food literacy can really help create a fairer and more equitable food systems. It empowers individuals, but also communities, to make choices that support food production and distribution practices that are safer and fairer for all. And the economy, so food literate citizens will understand the true cost of food, including the environmental costs, the healthcare expenses, and the productivity loss. And they can therefore really drive demand for more sustainable production and patterns, consumption patterns in general. So what is food literacy? So it helps people make healthier and sustainable food choices in their everyday lives. It's a collection of knowledge, skills, and value required to plan, manage, select, prepare, and eat food. And it allows individuals to develop a positive relationship with food across their lifetime and be able to navigate, engage, and participate within a complex food system. So, as opposed to food education, which is defined by learning about food, facts, so nutritional values, production processes, or health impact, food literacy will go further and will help people understand, evaluate, and use food information to promote health and their own well-being. So it goes further than just food and health, just nutrition, and it allows people to create critical thinking really around food, and to therefore become more knowledgeable consumers and more healthy consumers in the long run. And this is why we not only talk about knowledge, but also about planning, managing, selecting, preparing, and eating the food. So really all of the relationship with food that an individual needs. So the outcome of having a good food literacy level is really the ability to make informed choices, informed decisions, and actually take actions to promote health and sustainability. So those 3 pillars here that I'm presenting are the key dimensions of food literacy. So in researching food literacy, we've come across many models, but this is the model we chose at EIT Food to define food literacy, because it has, well, it's it basically maps the way we would like to deliver food literacy to the people. So not every activity that I presented at the beginning will do everything, but as a collective actions, we hope to cover all of these three aspects. So the first aspect is the factual knowledge, what I defined before, more like the food education. So what we need to know to understand food, so knowledge about food systems, learning how to evaluate if food-related information is reliable. That's a very, very important skill nowadays. And if information is evidence-based or science-based. And then we go from the knowledge to the action in the other two dimensions. So just knowing the facts will not allow you to be food literate. You also need to know the procedures, the how to, and the how to is develop the hands-on food skills, knowing how to grow food, to prepare food, to eat food, and so very, very basic knowledge, how to chop a vegetable, how to plant a seed, how to relate back to your food in a practical way. And this procedural literacy is really essential for people individually to prepare, to cook, to meal plan. And it allows you, it allows one in general to get the skills, the proper skills for participating in the food systems in general. And deriving from those two pillars and so those two dimensions, we come to the last but very important dimension, which is the critical reflection and engagement, becoming an actual food citizen, and basically relating to the why it matters. Why do I need to be food literate? More than only for my health. We really focus on the importance of developing this critical thinking, becoming someone who is able to actually evaluate food systems in general, to understand connections between health, food society, and the environment, what I was presenting at the beginning, but then also to become advocates and educators themselves, multipliers. And this is something that we are really focusing on the Food Educators Project, for people not to sort of shift their perspective from consumers to citizens, and to increase their food literacy across a lifespan for themselves, but also for their communities. So that brings me to the next steps in my presentation about food educators and why we created this specific project. As I just mentioned, here what we are focused is really on empowering educators, so teachers or even informal educators, to increase their food literacy, to feel more comfortable in their food knowledge, but also in their procedural knowledge and their food literacy as a whole, in order to become multipliers and increase their students' food literacy. So here, yes, just to go back to how the way we created and how we started the Food Educators Project. So we did a big needs analysis of teachers across Europe. And the key takeaways that we've seen generally in the surveys is that teachers did see, most of the teachers we asked did see the importance of food literacy and the importance of the food systems in general for both for themselves and for society. But what they felt is that they really lacked some of the knowledge of the key concepts, that they had lack of resources, lack of digital tools, that the school programs were usually not covering the whole food systems and were rather focusing on one part of the important knowledge that one needs to have. And they've asked basically for help in getting new content to them, useful content and easy to use content, because that's in some countries that was really something that came as a message, that there was a lot of content out there, but it was very difficult for the teachers to use it as an easy tool. So we tried to take all of these learnings from our teachers' needs assessments and develop something that was useful to them, to our audience. We decided that, and it still is true today, our mission and vision that you can read here. So we support the educators to teach, engage and inspire young people about the food they eat, and also consider a career in the agri-food sector. And our vision is really a world where all young people have access to food education and are aware of jobs and careers in the food system. And in concrete terms, what is our offer? Deriving from the teachers' need assessments, we've really focused the first years of implementation into creating lesson plans, easy to use lesson plans for educators to use with groups of kids around 4 themes and in 16 languages. We also finance career days across the different countries that we work in. We have activity weeks where we focus, especially around the World Food Day, we give the opportunity to schools and teachers to have specific activities around food. We've created an international food educators school network that we've launched just a few weeks ago, and we have national contact points in 15 languages, in 15 countries, sorry, in 16 languages, 15 countries. Those are the 15 countries. In each of those countries, we have hubs that are taking care of the implementation, that are training teachers regularly in online and in person, and that are recruiting new schools and implementing career days and events in their countries. And we also have a core team at EIT Food, which really looks at developing new lesson plans, looking at the gaps in the different topics that we have, and then organizing the general network at European level. Here for the 2 next slides, I wanted to give you a little feel of what we've organized in the past few years. For instance, student workshops, we've had competitions, farming competitions, we've done a lot of events and festivals, but also more concretely, we've brought kids to different food industries, and we had workshops in different food careers to inspire the young people. So our lesson plans are downloadable for free on our website. We have so lesson plans are also usually linked to videos, handouts, supporting materials and tools that are sort of giving the teacher even more content to teach about different subjects. We have target groups from 6 to 18 years old. different lesson plans are built for different age group, and we're really focusing on the critical and system thinking skills. We have a lot of challenge-based projects, programs, and we've tried to really incorporate cooperation, action-oriented and playful content, also multimedia content into our offers as per what was asked for us from the teachers. So everything is available on our website that you can see here, foodeducators.eu. I won't have time to look at the video, but you can find the video to introduce our themes on our website, and I will go quickly on the themes. So our lesson plans are divided into age groups, as I said before, but also into those four different themes: food and health, food and sustainability, but also really food systems and science, and the agri-food jobs and careers, as mentioned before. And to give you a little feel of how lesson plan is divided, I've taken as an example this food system map lesson plan, where you can see, so on the left here of the screen, it starts with the age group, a little introduction, very in practical terms, what the teachers would need to present the lesson plans, the materials, but also how much time, and then the learning objectives of the lesson plan. So the lesson plans are created with experts, both in the topics and in pedagogy. So we really focus on their learning objectives and how it can be related with a subject. Subjects are different in different countries, but we really try to always link the lesson plan to one of the subjects to inspire teachers to teach it. And then in the second part of the lesson plan, it really goes into detailed instructions on how to implement the lesson plan with the kids. And here on the right-hand side, you can see supporting documentations that in this case, this lesson plan has a PowerPoint presentation with a lot of graphics and some games that the teacher can show during the lesson, but also share with the students and play with the students with. So we are making it as easy as possible for the teachers or the educator to use it. So that was my last slide, but I hope you've had a feel of what we are doing, our purpose, but also concretely what we are proposing as activities. So Food Educators is really trying to equip the teachers for change, to increase their food literacy. We provide the resources, the networks, and the inspiration for them. And we are really hoping that the next generation, through their teachers, will become more informed and engaged, empowered food citizens. So if you have any questions, I'm opening maybe. I don't know if I still have a little bit of time, Edward.
Yeah, because you had to leave at 3. It's better to have the questions now. So
great.
Please. I see that Jessica has a question already.
Yes, Jessica, tell me.
Hello, hi, nice to meet you. I just introduced myself. I'm working at the Foundation for Environmental Education. We are an NGO based in Copenhagen, and we work mainly for education for sustainable development, but I'm the project manager of Planet. Maybe you know it's an EU-funded project. Yeah. And we are actually developing a toolbox, an education toolbox about food sustainability. So really like what you just present really ring a bell, like lesson plan. And I'm really interested to have the result of your survey about what teacher needs, because it's exactly what we have also found out, because we have also a big network of teachers, because we have a program called Eco Schools.
Yes.
So if you can share with me your survey results, it will be nice. Then we can also maybe point it to your survey result also. that will be interesting. And my question is about the lesson plan. Like you have who is developing your lesson plan in your organization? Do you have you asked teacher about their need? How do they feel about your material? What's the feedback when they use it? Because we know there is many resources and we don't want to create just extra resources. I see you have really good design resources. And we think we want to address also, as you say, the gap of the basic knowledge also for those who don't feel confident. To get into the subject. Sorry, many question.
No, thank you. I feel that you understand very well all of the different challenges that we've had since the beginning and how to address those. So as per the teacher's needs assessment, I will share it with you. We have on our website we've done the teacher's needs assessment at the launch of the project, and we've done it again year and a half into the project. So the teachers' needs assessment was really opened to many teachers across Europe. But we also have a teachers' board that we developed since the creation of the project, where we selected in an open call 10 sort of ambassadors teachers that are that have been helping us in testing new lesson plans and testing new topics. And that have given us extremely good feedback into the gaps in the resources that we've had and what they think in their school practices could help. So that has been an enormously an enormous feedback that qualitative feedback of peers that has helped us. When it comes to the actual creation of the lesson plans, we've started in 2021. For 6 months, what we've done is really creating a number of the first lesson plans, and those we had an expert in science communication and pedagogy that was leading the drafting of the creation of the templates and the drafting of the templates, how to make it easy with the teachers. And then when it came to the actual content, we were lucky with the EIT Food to have access to a number of experts in the content that helped us develop the content of the different lesson plans. So we always worked with both experts in the field and experts in communication and education. And then we always tested the resources with teachers. So we've piloted all of the lesson plans in classrooms, giving feedback and readjusting the actual plans every time. But really what we're trying to achieve is because we know that many EU projects have developed toolkits, and unfortunately, and this is something that the teachers have always also, it depends on which country, but in some of the countries they say there's just too much out there, and what they usually really like about our project is that they get to know it through the hubs, through a local hub, and they are first trained. So the training allows them to feel empowered, and then they really trust. I think once you've been trained, they really trust that the lesson plans will be easy to use. And this is what they are looking for, because even us in EIT Food, we've developed over the years other toolkits, and sometimes with experts, they give us so much information that we always felt like we needed to give as much information as possible back to the teachers, and this was not useful to them. What they want is something, they do it most of the time extra. It's not something they have to do, so they need to feel comfortable, but it needs to be easy and not too much time consuming. That being said, the ones that are very motivated, have asked for more, and we've had now since this year, every month we do webinars on specific informations that teachers ask for. We've had a webinar on food waste. We're having a webinar on the Eat Lancet, for instance. So we adapt our offers sort of depending on how the teachers' needs come to us. So it's not a straight answer, but it's really flexibility.
No, I get you. Yeah, I mean, I could continue the talk with you. So I will just put in the chat maybe my email address, and if you wish, we can have an exchange as well on this, because I totally agree with you. And we are part of an EU project right now, and we need to do exactly the same process as you are doing, testing the material, etc. We used to lesson plan for sustainable development. Here is a bit more specific about food, but you have the expertise for sure. So I would be really happy to meet you.
That would be brilliant.
Thanks.
For sure.
Thanks.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question for Fabienne? Because I was wondering when Alan has a question. Yes.
Yes, Alan?
Hi there. Yeah, it was just, I was wondering the progress that you're discussing there in food literacy and its association with the themes of fair and resilient food systems and healthier lives through food at EIT Food. That would kind of be continued and built upon with the change to biotechnology and alternative proteins, because it's harder to kind of educate with those terms, whereas it's a kind of easier concept for children to understand healthier lives and food systems.
Yeah, of course, everything is made easy. We are doing science communication, so we are not going to, so all of the lesson plans we are using the expertise of our colleagues in biotech, for instance, but then the topics are really, how can I say, simplified in order for the teachers to be able to use them in the class and to understand them first. So and then so that's how we divided the themes. And inside the themes, you will find some topics that are linked to biotech, but we do not have one lesson plans about biotech, for instance, if it makes sense. I don't know if it answers your question, Alan, or if you can redefine.
Just to see whether it's that kind of continuation in terms of, as you're saying, it's like how you kind of get these kind of concepts across in terms of maybe kind of what the industry's working on, as opposed to what it means to kind of the public or to kind of young people in terms of how you make them understand, for example, alternative proteins links to their health and well-being, and also the other side of that in terms of shortening food systems because it's simpler food.
I think the best answer to you is of course the lesson plans and how we are introducing those concepts into the lesson plans, but the career days have been amazing in doing that, because bringing the kids to a research center or to experts, or the other way around, we also had experts coming into the classrooms, allows them to really see this firsthand and to get inspired and to then themselves dig deeper into the subject. So it's always all of these pedagogical aspects and playing with them in order to get the final behavior change that we are looking for, because this is what we're ultimately trying to achieve. But there is not one size fits all, so we are using all of the research and all of the sort of tools that we have in at our disposal. So the lesson plans, the actual teachers training, where we do talk about this concept, and we have experts come to our webinars to explain these challenges and the concepts, and then bringing it in more practical terms to the kids and their families, because we also have projects where we include the families and other sort of audiences. Yeah, we talk generally in public engagement, insights and engagement. We talk to the general public. Here, our audience is more defined, but yeah, there's no secret recipe. It's about testing what works.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was wondering, Fabienne, because you show the map, and I think you're mainly active in countries, let's say, not in Northern and Western Europe. So, and we know that, let's say, food preferences or habits can be quite different per country. So how do you deal with this? Because you mentioned that topics can be different depending on the country.
Yes, absolutely. So what we do is we create the lesson plans, and we define the lesson plans national at project level. But then, as I said, we've had an open call to define national contact points in. So our target countries are countries that have been selected because of different data linked to childhood obesity, non-communicable diseases, and so mostly health data, but also in lack. So we had a number of sort of data sets in order to select the countries where we were going to work in, because of because we couldn't work in all of Europe and because we had to select a number of countries. In these countries, in these 15 countries, we have contact points that translates our work, but also adapts our work. So they have to have this critical thinking, and they have to also understand the local ecosystem. So this is something that we really focus on with our partners, is to understanding what the offers already is in their countries. And we've had countries where the offer was already so high that we've decided not to continue our work, because there were other NGOs that were doing what we're doing. So we didn't want to focus on countries that had the offer already, but really put on energy where it mattered. So that's how it was, how we work.
Yeah, because that's what I thought when Jessica asked the question. Do you collaborate with organizations that deliver this type of educational material in countries that were white on your map?
Yes, and the way we do it is through our hubs. So our hubs are tasked to actually look who is doing the similar work and cooperate with them. We don't want to become. We are all using public money, and we don't want to become competitors. So we readjust our strategy depending on the offer that is out there. And in some countries, we focus on very specific regions because we've seen that there is a need in specific regions, or also specific topics, or I know that in some countries we have, in Hungary, for instance, we have a really good partnership with schools that are doing HoReCa, that are training future chefs, for instance. So depending on the people we work with, we will have different specialties and work in gaps that we've. But of course, we're always here to learn and to find new partners and new possibilities. So Yeah, if any one of you wants to, I'm available to answer more questions, or if you know of a very interesting partner that you think we should work with, we are always open to that.
I think Jessica is the first one that would like to
yes,
collaborate with you.
And I
Definitely.
will for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fabienne. Now I would like to give the floor to Manon Cornell from Open Food Facts. You can share your screen and we look forward to your presentation.
Hello, everyone. And thank you very much, Fabienne, for the presentation. This was very interesting. I think we will definitely talk after the webinar. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, perfect. So I'll try to keep it short. I've got 20 minutes, is that correct? More or less?
Yes, you have 20 minutes, but you can spend a little bit more, no problem.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, thank you, Edouard, for the invite. So I'm here to present the project Open Food Facts. So we are a non-profit that started in 2012, so 13 years of existence now. I'm going to introduce briefly Open Food Facts. I'm going to go in detail a bit more around the tool that we propose for food professionals. And then if we have time, I'll give you some example of projects we're working on at the moment. And hopefully that will give you a better idea of the diversity of things that happen within Open Food Facts. So yes, Open Food Facts, we're a non-profit, started in 2012 with the goal of digitalizing all the information that is available in supermarkets. So it started with 1 product, 10 products, 100 products, and now we've reached 4 million products globally. So it's a crowdsourced database of food products. We list information like the name of the products, the category of the product, the brand, but also ingredient list and nutritional table, who can come handy to compute different scores that are useful for the consumer to make decision with all the information. We've recently been recognized by the United Nations as a digital public good. So this is helping us solidify the project. So yeah, as I said, we are a citizen project. So it's mostly relying on the community and the contributors. The project is open source, so all the algorithms, all the code, everything is open source, and the database is open data. So this means that it can be reused by anyone, and it can also be reused by teachers, of course. So we have many examples of educational use case of teachers using Open Food Facts. So yeah, more generally, our mission is to empower people through data. So we help many stakeholders, from consumers to producers, researchers, also government institutions. They work with our data from time to time. And teachers, we always forget some people, journalists, economists. There's everyone interested in food can benefit from Open Food Facts. And so the goal is to bring this data in the hands so that they can measure and change at a large scale the impact on food, on our health, and on the planet. So in the last 3 years, we've started to focus on the ecological impact of food as well, with the computation of the green score, which was previously called EcoScore, which maybe some of you are familiar with. So now, how does it work? So this big database is built with several inputs. So contributors of Open Food Facts. So it works a bit like Wikipedia. Anyone can join in and contribute and edit a page, take some photo and upload them in Open Food Fact. So contributors. We also work with food manufacturers. They send us the product information directly. We can also sometimes integrate open source database when they're available, but this is very scarce. Globally, such a database only exists in the United States, as far as we know. Another source of data is mobile apps that reuse Open Food Fact for their own business, and they allow their users to edit and contribute to the database. So they send us back the data refreshed, let's say. So once we've made this database, as I mentioned briefly earlier, but it could be reused by many stakeholders, consumers, startup, project, students, journalists, governmental institution, you name it. So in terms of data, what kind of data we're talking about? I can give you a link to the website so you can go and see, but we store about 150 attributes on each food product. So it's brand, ingredient list, category, label, etc. We count about 1,500 new products every day, so the contribution is really worldwide. We could see on the right the distribution of the products all over the world. So Open Food Fact started in France. This is why this is the big quarter is France. But we are present in more than 150 countries. So all that matters is to have a first community of volunteers that start and scan products and add information, and then suddenly you can have a snowball effect pretty quickly. Like we observed this in India, for example, in only 6 months, they went from 10 products to 15,000. It only took 4 contributors that were very motivated, and so this is quite astonishing to see the power of the community. And so yes, out of the 4 million products that are available in the database, we compute the Nutri-Score for 1.3 million products. We compute the Green Score for almost 1 million products, and we compute automatically again the NOVA classification for 980,000 products. And the NOVA classification is the score assessing the level of ultra processing of food. So yeah, the growth is fairly steady since the last 10 years. So it's very encouraging to see citizens being very motivated to join the project. So we have all 4 million products now. The website and the app, because we have a mobile app as well, so that you can scan. It's a bit easier in supermarket than going with your laptop. The website and the app are available in more than 40 languages. We've counted about 80,000 contributors in the world, and we onboarded 350 producers. So those are manufacturers that are willing to contribute data for free to Open Food Facts. Then we're trying to monitor as well the usage of our database in the research world, and we've noted that there are 600 scientific papers that are quoting Open Food Facts today. So we are understanding that our impact is not just to help citizens, but also make some progress around science, nutrition, and health topics. And we have, a bit more than 3 million visitors per month. So yeah, now I'm going to tell you a bit more about the Pro platform, in case some of you in the room are in food manufacturing companies and would be interested to go towards this transparency path. So in order to enrich the database, we've built this Pro platform. So it's a platform dedicated only for food manufacturers. So it's a space where they can upload product information with more adapted tool. They can, for example, upload a spreadsheet. So it's much faster than if you go through the classical contributor journey on the public platform. So this is much more adapted to business because they're more used to working with spreadsheet. We're also compatible with GS1 format. So we put in place various type of automated data transfer, especially with the big manufacturer and the big retailers. So yeah, we've got some connection with like 80 or 100 food manufacturers today. So we receive data every night, and that's really helping to keep the database fresh and up to date. And so within this platform, we also provide some free tools for food manufacturers, tools that can help them compute score for free, also visualize the portfolio based on the Nutri-Score or based on the green score. There's also a way to check the data quality of the data. And we were very surprised at the beginning because for every food manufacturer, we have an average of 5% of data quality errors, where there's sometimes some mistake in the ingredient list with typo, or in the nutritional table, some values can be inverted. So the food manufacturer were very grateful to be able to run the data through our data quality algorithm, because they could identify mistakes that way. And then we also have some benchmarking tool and another one, but I'm maybe not going to go too much in detail. But we also have a tool that can give suggestion in order to optimize the Nutri-Scores of the food manufacturers. So we tell them precisely, okay, you need to reduce by 2% the quantity of sugar, and this will take you to, I think it's a slide after, and this will take you from a Nutri-Score C to a Nutri-Score B. So we suggest recipe adjustments for letter changes, and that's one of the tools that's very appreciated by food manufacturers. But okay, if I go back on my slides, so one of the main reasons why it's interesting, and often why food manufacturers are willing to share data with Open Food Fact, is to regain control over the data, because in a way, whether they want it or not, the data will eventually arrive into Open Food Fact. We have so many contributors worldwide, and so many citizens are taking photos and logging data, and we could see more and more these days. So there will be photos, but they're probably not always the photo that the food manufacturer wants to see publicly, because they're crowdsourced images. And so one reason to contribute is to make sure that the visual that you make available is the correct one, and is helping your brand image. So yeah, another key aspect of Open Food Facts is that as we are open source, open data, there are many projects all over the world that are reusing Open Food Facts to run their own business. Fitness app, calorie counters, recipe app, app for pregnant women, app for people eating halal food. Like there's many apps these days to adapt the nutrition to every audience. And so at the moment, we've identified about 400 apps that are reusing Open Food Facts. And so having the data up to date in Open Food Facts is also a way to have the data up to date in all those other stakeholders who are reusing the database. So it's a multiplier, basically. So then, yes, I talked about the recommendation. Then, yeah, we support science. We have benchmark. I'll drop my email in the chat, of course, and I can go in a bit more detail and maybe propose a demo if you're interested. So yeah, the 350 food manufacturers that are using Open Food Fact today represent almost 3,000 brands put together, because there's a lot of retailers who own a lot of brands, and like Unilever and this kind of big brands that own a lot of little brands. So yeah, this is about the Pro platform, but I'll be happy to give you more detail later. And then I'll try to keep it short, but these are a few slides about our latest projects. Yeah, to try to give you a bit more context on the different kind of routes we can work with at Open Food Facts. The first one being the Nutri-Score. So it's been 10 years that we are accompanying the Nutri-Score. Since 2016, we've been working hand in hand with Santé Publique France, which is the French Ministry of Health, and the team of researchers. We were developing the Nutri-Score in France. One notable input or involvement was that when they were building the algorithm of the Nutri-Score, they challenged this methodology by computing it on the 3 million products that we had at the time. And this was very useful for them to have a validation that all the Nutri-Scores were distributed more or less homogeneously, and that no 3 million products come up with a Nutri-Score E, for example. So that was that helped validate the methodology, of the Nutri-Score. So more recently, we've introduced in Open Food Fact the new methodology, which was released almost a year ago now. So we help with pedagogic messages towards our community. We did a lot of communication towards food manufacturers as well, organizing webinars and proposing specific tools. I forgot to say, but in the Pro platform, we also have a tool that can tell the food manufacturer which products have changed Nutri-Score between the old version and the new version, so that they could prepare and start reformulate their products, so that the consumer are not so that they can prepare their marketing campaign, or make sure that not all their products go down in the letter, because as we all know, the new methodology is a little bit more strict on some categories. And yes, in the big lines, that's our work with the Nutri-Score. And we also helped compute it. information like this graph that you can see here. This is something we produced for the Ministry of Health, where we looked at all the products in Open Food Fact and checked which one will change score. So you see on the first line, this was all the products that were Nutri-Score A, and among those, only two-thirds about would stay in Nutri-Score A. Those one would go Nutri-Score B, and this section would become Nutri-Score C. So we did this for all the products. So this is a very visual illustration of the fact that the new Nutri-Score is taking many products down, but it's for good reason, for the health of everyone. So and we are still a webinar, which I could probably put a link with the Professor Agberg, the founder of the Nutri-Score. Okay, so then we work around the environmental impact of food. So Open Food Fact is part of the consortium that developed the EcoScore at the time with the Yuka, Marmiton, and a few other actors. So this score has changed name 6 months ago. It's now called the Green Score. But a letter going from A to F, taking into account criteria like the production methods, the origin of ingredients, the what's it called? The threat on endangered species, and it starts from a life cycle analysis database, and then had some criteria. Again, I'm happy to share more resources on the methodology. So it's at the moment still experimental. It's not a score that has been officially validated by the French government or even at the European level. However, if at some point in the next few years an official environmental impact score arise at the European level, we would always foster whatever the scientific consensus reveals, and we'll integrate it in Open Food Facts. Then more recently, just to give you an idea, that because we also work a lot with AI and machine learning, we've built a little tool that from an image can extract the nutritional values. So this has been super helpful to improve the data quality of Open Food Facts. And many stakeholders rely on the nutritional tables to do many kind of things. I know many doctors as well working with diabetic patients, use Open Food Facts for measuring intake and all sorts. So having the nutritional values have it in the database is very important. More recently as well, we've been starting to work on prices. So this is a project many economists are looking into it. We've collected more than 100,000 prices all around the world. This project is having a lot of traction from the community. Again, open data, so many application cases can be thought of when we have the price. And maybe I'll stop here. This is a search engine we're working on, so trying to make it more intuitive and so on. This is a bit technical. I'm gonna send the slides anyway, and to give you an idea on the use from the scientific community. This is some quotes and some a table explaining how important the database of Open Food Fact was for the works. So yeah. And that's all for me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can see that Bauke is having a question. Bauke is, yeah, now you're unmuted.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was looking for the microphone. Thanks for your excellent presentation. Congratulations. I was also checking your website, and I am under the impression that it's a lot of processed and uber-processed products and not really kind of the raw products like onions, carrots, and that kind of stuff. Is that also available in your database?
Yes, yeah, good question. The reason for that is that the primary key of each product sheet is the barcode, and therefore, naturally, all the community has started adding information based on that barcode. However, we are also storing information for raw products. So the process is a bit different to find the product. You have to type the name of the ingredient, and we assign it a generic barcode that is automatically generated by the system. But it's a challenge that making those raw products more visible is a challenge we're kind of aware of, and to encourage consumer also to cook more. We've also developed that's a side project called the Contribalim, where the consumer can type all the ingredients that he's using to build a recipe, and we compute the Nutri-Score for this recipe. So this is more like ingredient oriented. But yes, there's probably efforts we could do to make those more visible.
Great. I'm asking because actually we're working on a blockchain model, precisely what you say, combining ingredients from farmers into recipes. And
Okay.
So as you also told was that you have probably connections available with an API to other programs. So I'm very eager to have another meeting with you and my colleagues to talk about it further if you want.
Yeah,
and if
absolutely.
you can.
Yes. Yeah, we do have an API. We have it's happy to talk with you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think, Manon, I think we will invite you as a keynote speaker for our final conference next year. And Bauke is involved in a pilot. I call it Chief Chain, and I think it's very successful. And I hope that they also will be presenting themselves at the Titan final conference. Okay, Paul Vos was also having a question.
Yes, thanks a lot for your presentation. I have a few questions, but maybe the most important one on the environmental score that you presented. I guess on nutritional information, which is on the label, I assume that's all available in your database. But is the underlying data on which this green score is calculated, is that also available to, I don't know, researchers for other projects or users of your database?
Oh yes. Everything Open Food Fact makes is open source, open data. The methodology of the green score is also open source. Mm-hmm. So you can recompute from the same, but yeah, so we automatically compute based on the raw data. What we needed to do in Open Food Fact is to make a connection and integration with the AgriBalise database, which maybe you were aware of, which is the LCA developed by the French Ecological Institution.
Okay.
And so you can see for each product, if you click on the detail of the green score, you see every score, like you see the life cycle assessment score, and you see all the bonus, all the penalty points due to all the criteria. So it's super detailed.
Okay.
So yeah.
But nice to be aware of, and I'm coordinating another project called Giant Leaps, where we work with database and trying to connect it to dietary intake. There might be some interesting links there actually. So very interesting to know. Maybe also another question, quite different, but from a previous role that I was in, I was aware of Food Switch, which comes from Australia and New Zealand, which I think has quite a similar goal as this. Is there any connection, or and are you aware of this, or maybe it's superseded already?
Yes, we've heard of it because a researcher was using it and wanted to explore Open Food Facts or the Pro platform as a substitute of Food Switch. I have to say I don't know it very much. Like I've never tried it, but I think we were doing a similar type service.
Yeah, well, that's also my impression. So, and maybe if geographic scopes are complementary, it may be useful to try to see if data could be, let's say, reoperable or well, exchangeable in any way.
Are you using Food Switch for yourself?
No, I was involved in a small not-for-profit organization where we collaborated with Food Switch researchers.
Okay.
So that's how I know it.
Yeah. Okay. I find the document comparing. Maybe I can send it to you if you want. Where there's a few comparison points with Open Food Facts.
Okay.
It's helpful.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Then Isabel has a question. She needs to unmute.
Hi. Well, thank you for your presentation. We actually, I'm from Telspec, and we actually worked with your Open Food Facts APIs. We were developing a project for Spanish consumers that would give them a questionnaire, a health questionnaire, and based on the questionnaire, we would suggest a different score, different Nutri-Score, specifically personalized for them. And we used your APIs, but we were not very successful in doing this. And the reason why was not the integration, the APIs were fine, was really that the foods that existed in Spain were not in your database. And when they were in your database, they were either not in Spanish. We found foods that were like in bizarre languages that we couldn't tell what it was, some sort of a Russian language. Sometimes the entries were incorrect. And we end up by having to enter, in order to demo our technology, having to enter quite a few entries specifically to the Spanish market. And this is my question is, this is great. And I love the idea. And I was, a strong supporter of using everything you've done. By the way, also the reading the ingredients from the photograph, it did not work either for us. So I'm not sure if that's already working or not. But it sounds to me that the database needs to be greater. I mean, Wikipedia did not get to be Wikipedia if they did not have people that read those entries and actually change them or not accept them. You seem to have a lot of junk in your database. That's, it's your great presentation. You don't see this part, but then when you go implement it, you go, oh, almost every food that we were scanning was coming out wrongly. So I really would encourage, some curation, a group of people that reads the stuff and actually, and this could even be for free as well, because our project died there. I mean, we actually could have gone, and we had access to 3,000 Spanish consumers interested in food in this project. And we couldn't demo. I mean, we could only demo if we pre-selected the foods for them to scan. And if we enter it into your database, those foods, Otherwise, we couldn't. If as soon as they went outside of our foods, we couldn't, because they were reading things that were not correct, or they were not there at all. So I concluded that it would be hard for you to scale up to other countries, even within Europe, even next door to you. So I don't know if you plan on having people that curate your database.
Yeah, so thank you very much for this feedback. May I ask, when was this attempt? Just to know if it's like recent or...
Just a few months ago, like the project
2 months
started
ago.
a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and about June, we said, okay, we're going to halt this. We can demo it, but we can't continue to enter we can't continue to enter every single product that exists in Spain, right?
Well,
and so our site was, we did not know of the existence of Yucca. It's similar to Yucca, but in a way that it's slightly different, because it asks health questionnaire, and it's built on machine learning health results that joins food and health. We actually have a huge database on food and health, okay, called Talspecopedia, and joins that. And for instance, when it would give you, say, potato chips, okay, so the potato chips would show, of course, if you have metabolic problem, would be scored much lower than if you don't have a metabolic problem. Okay, so it would be personalized health. It's not just because the problem that exists here is that food is not always good for everybody. One fits all. It is not one fits all. So we were catering to different types, 15 different types of diseases, or general block of diseases, and scoring the food data based on those diseases. Okay, and it was just 2 months ago. In June. That's when we decided, okay, we don't go further. We can't go further. We can't out-enter every single food that exists in Spain.
Yeah, so I didn't quite realize it was maybe that bad, but I knew Spain wasn't one of our strongest country in Europe. But the thing is, it's kind of a virtuous circle when you start having people like in Italy or Germany, more and more people are using the data and therefore contribute when they find mistake, and then you go towards a high quality database. In Spain, though, we have the Carrefour Spain sharing data with us, and we have a few mobile apps that are reusing Open Food Fact and contributing data back as well. So I will definitely talk to the team about this and try to make a stronger focus, because this is not okay if people like you would like to use it and you can't. At least make a focus on the 10,000 top popular products in Spain, if we don't have too much resource to put towards this. But yeah, I definitely hear your...
You need a person that curates the database, because I remember going, at one point it was crazy. We would get a food, scan the food, and then, we had to enter the food, the PR code, because scanning did not work. But enter the food and then get half German, half French, or half English, and all of it wrong. And so it was like, okay, guys, you have a fantastic product, curate it, get someone to be reading this stuff and seeing if it is in fact what people are entering, because it could even be sabotage. I have no idea, but it was like that. It was, we could not use it in Spain.
Okay, I'm sorry, we have to stop the discussion, but hopefully you will be in contact after the webinar. There was also a question from Paula in the chat, and she asked, what is your financial model? Do you have support and or sponsorships from government and or private companies?
Yes, so we are funded through different way. One way that we will never get funding is through food companies, because we made it a strong point in our status that we would always be independent from the food industry. But the way we fund it is, I would say, 1/3 is coming from European projects. We're involved in 5 or 6 over the last 5 years. So yeah, European projects. Then foundations. So for example, the Google.org Foundation or Mozilla Foundation, the Free Foundation in France, which is a phone and network company. So technology foundation, basically. And then public institution. Yeah, absolutely. So the Ministry of Health is funding us in a multi-year contract. We got fundings from from ADEME, which is the French ecological institution in France, and then we spend a lot of time looking for grants and subsidies, and we keep applying, but we don't have anything that is for pay, either for consumer or for the producer. So we have to go and find the money elsewhere to finance a team of 10 people. Just I forgot to say, in case.
Yes, I'm looking down. Yeah, and she asked, what are the main difficulties you have encountered to create and depart the web platform? So that's maybe a question from the early stage.
Yeah, I think, well, the technical skills were not lacking, because the core team has a lot of technical background initially. They're all technical engineers rather than nutritionists, for example. So technical wasn't a problem. I think it's always the same challenge, which is building the community, trying to find citizens willing to contribute and kickstart to reach a certain level of quality that makes the database usable. So as I understand, we may not have reached that stage in Spain, and I'm sorry about this. But yeah, as we're a small team, so it's difficult to be monitoring all markets at the same time. But we also have a team of volunteers that is moderating the database and signaling a lot of images and trying to work on improving it. But
let's use our Spanish contacts to get them active. Yeah. Okay, I thank you very much, Manon, for your nice presentation and answering the questions. I thank all the audience for joining in and asking questions, and Manuela for arranging the webinar. The webinar will be posted on YouTube, so very soon you will be able to find it via the website of Titan. I thank you all very much again. Have a nice afternoon and look forward to see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.